So Graham Cregeen joins us, now the Minister for Home Affairs, and well, that's been interesting because we were trying to get you here to talk about the teachers' situation.
Yeah.
You must be relieved to be out of that.
I've really enjoyed my time at the Department of Education. It's been a real privilege to be there, and from taking over it in education, I think what we've done is we've improved preschools. Previously there was only 10 hours. There was no quality assurance in there. We've now put quality assurance in there. We've doubled the amount of hours that's in there. We've helped families on low income to be able to send their children to university. So we've brought in a £7,500 grant to help families on low income, and that's on a sliding scale. So people on an income up to say £60,000 will still get some assistance to send their young people to university. We've also done lots of stuff towards vocational qualifications because it's not all about being academic. We've started off a vision of how we want to see education for the next 30 years. So we've engaged an international educationalist who's been going around the schools.
Okay. That's great. That's in the past. What didn't get sorted though was the teachers. They had no... I know there was no interaction with you, and I went to one of those union meetings, and you were definitely the bogeyman in that.
But I think part of that is that we were never invited to these meetings, and when you're dealing with off-island unions, and they're trying to sort of get their position put across, and I think the thing that we were trying to say is that our teachers have always had their pay linked to that of the UK, England. So their teachers' pay on the Isle of Man was linked to that of England, and there was never any industrial action in England regarding the pay increases that we've implemented, and this is just the unions coming over here saying, well, we think that we should have more for our teachers over here.
Do you think you handled it well? I mean, I know it's in the past technically in a way, but I mean, do you think it was handled well?
Part of the issue is that I think the unions, what they did was they did their negotiations through the media. So as soon as they did something, they sent it out to the media, and then it came to us. The government's position at the time was that we do not do pay negotiations in public. It's all in arena. So we followed that process.
You can't be happy though the way it's all ended, surely, because I mean it looks like you've been moved, right? You were pushed. There was massive rumours you were being asked very much to go to be an MLC. I mean, they wanted to get rid of you almost. I mean, I don't want to be too blunt about this, but do you think your time was up in education and it had to be a change?
We were dealing with the dispute as it was, and what had happened was my officers had 4 days of discussions with the unions. They had put a number of offers to the unions regarding increases of their pay above what was agreed. The unions didn't think that they could consider what we'd offered them as offers. And further along, one of the unions who wasn't in dispute with us said, right, well, we'll go to the Industrial Relations Service with you to try and work out something. Our officers went there. The union officials thought that they could make a recommendation to their members, which would have put their members onto the London Fringe weighting, which would have seen new starters getting £6,000 a year more. So for the first 2 years of their £6,000 up to 30,000, so they'd go from 24 to 30,000, and it would have seen the rest of the pay scales getting on average between £1,100 and £1,200 a year more. So that was the offer that went to the unions. But that didn't get through.
Okay, I'm still interested in what's happening behind the scenes. You're not going to tell me, I'm sure. Were you asked to move? Did you want to move? Let's face it, it's all very convenient. Whatever you say, that you've been moved sideways. Do you accept that? You've been moved sideways.
Well, I think the issue is that, unfortunately, the passing of, Bill Malarkey got elected the same time as myself, and we'd been through a long period of politics between us all. And with the untimely passing of Bill, there was a position at Home Affairs, and the Chief Minister said, well, would you take up that position? Because having experience in a government department, moving into that department, it was just
right. But you could have stayed. Could you have stayed? Would you have been allowed to stay?
It was going to be one of those positions that The unions were trying to make a position of it. It wasn't us that were negotiating it.
Had your position come untenable then?
I don't think so. I think part of this is to try and see if we can actually make sure that we can get the best for our education. This is all about our children's education. It's not a personal thing. It has never been from my side. It's never been a personal issue.
Okay. Did you want to stay then?
I've always enjoyed my job in education.
Do you think you did it well?
I do. I think, when you look and you talk to my officers and you talk around the schools, we have improved things. We've given our children better opportunities.
Do you communicate well? Do you think you have that interaction and skills required for the job, though, with these people particularly?
Well, I
teachers.
Yes. Well, I used to go around and I used to call around at the schools, and up until Friday of last week, I went from Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I was around visiting schools, talking to head teachers about our future of education with our education professionals, see how we can actually get the best for our children's education.
Did you have the confidence of the Chief Minister?
Yes, I think I did. Because what we've done
you don't see this as a move, a very timely move, though?
Well, look, you've got a position that's come, unfortunately, it's become, with a sad passing of Bill, but there's a position there. And I think what we've got to do is it's what we can actually do for the education of our children. If the UK officials are trying to make this personal against myself, it
seems that you were the problem to some degree. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, and the union, the UK union officials have made it a personal issue because it's part of, I would say, their plan of what you try to do is you try to make it a personal issue and try to push it forward. It's never been a personal issue. I've never been involved in the pay negotiations. I think the unions have come along and said, well, what we really want is we want the Treasury Minister there. We want the Treasury Minister to sit there and say, you give us this amount of money. But the unions themselves have never been in a position where they could have accepted it because they always go back to their members.
Did you get asked to go up to be an MLC? It was not suggested that you might want to take one of those positions?
Oh, some backbenchers go, are you interested in going as...
Not the Chief Minister or anyone?
No. It's one of those things that I suppose what they say is that when you're looking at Legislative Council, is there people with experience going into Legislative Council who have had government experience?
It's a good parachute, though, isn't it? It's always a good way out.
Well,
if you get the votes, of course.
Well, it's if you get the votes. But part of the thing is, I got into politics to try and make a difference, and
everyone does that.
Yeah.
No one's going to tell you otherwise.
But the thing is, if you look across the career that I've done, I've not shirked away from anything that's been a difficult decision.
So 5 years ago, almost to the week now, was post offices for you, and all the changes there. And we had before that the buses, and remember all the stuff there. Yeah, okay.
So I've never shirked away from tough decisions, and part of it is what we've got to do is the Isle of Man's had to go and look at its finances, because when you had the VAT sharing agreement, when money came, we had a reduction in money, that decisions had to be made, and they were not easy decisions, but when you look at the buses, when you look at the post office, the two post offices that we transferred over without a loss of service saved in the region of £400,000 a year.
Okay, but you're putting a good spin on this, but
no, it's not a spin. It's actually what's happened.
Okay, perception-wise, perception is you've been moved, you've been pushed sideways.
You
accept that?
I've been moved. Yes.
You have been moved.
Yes,
it's not your choice to stay then. You were told to move.
No, I was asked if I would go to Department of Home
And you
Affairs.
could stay if you wanted to stay?
No, it was a case of would you go there to fill that position? I said yes.
Okay, very quickly, anything planned for Home Affairs? Anything radical, or you just steady as she goes now? Is there anything in the system that's radical that you can get yourself involved in?
I think there is. We've got the communications bill that's been stalled at the moment. I need to have a look at that to see how we can actually move, because there's a lot of stuff in that bill that needs to be brought into action, and it's just been stalled at the moment. We've got the Sexual Offences and Obscene Publications Act. We've got a number of pieces of legislation coming forward. So I think there's an interesting time that we've got ahead. Unfortunately, we've got this coronavirus that's coming along, so you don't know how that's going to affect the island. So we've got all these bits and pieces that's going to...
Are you still happy? I mean, you're happy to keep going in the Quayle administration?
Yes.
Your little place on the table around Combe Inn, all very cosy?
I've done the jobs what I've been asked to do. All along, I've done the jobs. Even sort of when I first joined the government and I got asked to go into DEFRA, at the time it probably wouldn't have been the job that I would have thought about going to. But during my time there, I really enjoyed it. You know, with the stuff that we did in fisheries and regarding restocking the scallops, all that sort of stuff. I really enjoyed. Department of Infrastructure, DCCL.
So you give Mr. Howard Quayle your full support?
Yes, he's got my support. He knows he's got my support. He's supported me through this.
Do you think he's going to support you?
I think he has, because what's happened is we've gone through Council of Ministers. Everything that the department has done has gone through Council of Ministers, and the Chief Minister has been fully aware of where we've been on the pay negotiations.